Good morning, Rosehill. You are tuned into Newsprout, harvesting the hottest news from up the hill. I am Cheska Basiliote. We are now live this February 28, 2022. For today's headlines. Russian troops have invaded Ukraine using a wide variation of weaponry. Efforts to bring home Filipinos from Ukraine are underway. Pope Francis has announced March 2 as a day of fasting for peace. For international news, Russia has initiated an attack on Ukraine with forces invading the country from three sides. We have Marty Leon on this report.
Russian troops invaded Ukraine last Thursday, February 24, 2022. According to CNN, the assault began hours before dawn against locations near Ukraine's capital city, Kiev. The Russians used a wide variation of weaponry in their assault, including attack aircraft, helicopters, tanks, long-range artillery, and missiles. Ukraine's military are outnumbered, but they are continuing to hold back the invading forces in multiple locations. The UN said that at least 64 civilians have been killed since Russia invaded Ukraine. Countries have also unveiled a series of sanctions against Russia targeting banks, oil refineries, and military exports. These countries include Canada, the European Union, Japan, New Zealand, Taiwan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. According to French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, the measures aim at asphyxiating Russia's economy.
We're implementing comprehensive sanctions on Russian sovereign debt. That means we've cut off Russia's government from Western financing. It can no longer raise money from the West and cannot trade in its new debt on our markets or European markets either.
Later today, we will present a package of massive and targeted sanctions to European leaders for approval. With this package, we will target strategic sectors of the Russian economy by blocking their access to technologies and markets that are key for Russia.
Cities across the world have seen rallies in support of Ukraine this weekend, including in St. Petersburg, Washington, D.C., Barcelona, New York, Brussels, Milan, Tbilisi, and London. Several European countries have ordered bans on Russian airlines in their airspace as part of the sanctions against Russia. Countries who have closed airspace to Russian flights include the UK, Germany, Bulgaria, Poland, the Czech Republic, Estonia, Latvia, Slovenia, Lithuania, and Romania. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling for people around the world to join the fight against Russia. This is Marty Leon reporting for Newsprout.
Repatriation efforts of Filipino citizens from crisis-hit Ukraine are ongoing. We have Mikey Judan to tell us more.
The singular concern of the Philippines DFA chief is the safety of Filipinos in Ukraine. DFA Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. said, and these are his words, "Our chief and singular concern is to take out of harm's way our fellow Filipinos in Ukraine and bringing them to the nearest places of safety in the fastest possible way." He added that their offer to take Filipinos in Kiev is underway. 6 Filipinos who requested repatriation from Ukraine returned to the Philippines last February 18. 4 more Filipinos arrived home last Friday, February 25. According to Locsin, DFA Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, Sarah Lou Ariola, is in charge of the repatriation effort for Filipinos in Ukraine who want to come home. Currently, about 380 Filipinos are said to be in Ukraine. On another note, Ukraine and Russia may be halfway around the world, but the effects of their conflict could very well be felt in the Philippines. Economist Robert Dan Rosas said that the ongoing war could affect inflation and the prices of commodities. This is Mikey Judan reporting for Newsprout.
The Pope has announced March 2 as a day of fasting for peace. We have Sofia Encarnacion on this report. Sofia?
Pope Francis announced March 2, Ash Wednesday, as a day of fasting for peace. He made the appeal during the general audience last Wednesday amidst the current Russia-Ukraine conflict. The Pope said that the threat of war had caused a great pain in his heart. He asked world leaders to make a serious examination of conscience and that all parties involved refrain from any action that would cause even more suffering to the people. As he was closing his appeal, the Pope invited everyone to make March 2 a day for fasting and prayers. Pope Francis is encouraging believers to dedicate themselves intensely to prayer and fasting on that day. The Pope then ended by saying, "May the Queen of Peace preserve the world from the madness of war." This is Sofia Encarnacion reporting for Newsprout.
Thank you. And that concludes today's broadcast. This is Jessica Basaliote reporting for Newsprout. Stay well informed, Rosehill. Let us all continue praying for Russia and Ukraine.